Greetings everybody, I hope you're doing amazing. I feel amazing. I'm here at the ashram in India. I've been here a couple of weeks. I wanted to share an update with everybody about my time and journey here. It's been really beautiful and somehow both soft and intense at the same time. If you don't know Amma, she is also known as the Hugging Saint. She has been traveling the world, I think, for like 30 years after her ashram was established here in the 80s, I think. And she hugs people. She gives darshan, which is like the spiritual blessing of the teacher. She's considered an enlightened being here, so she's giving a very high energy blessing, and she does it by giving a hug. Unconditional love is the core frequency of this universe. Beyond everything else, there is unconditional love, and she is an embodiment of that unconditional love. And all spiritual teachers, in a sense, ought to be that embodiment of unconditional love if they're really awake and enlightened. Though I think this is the clearest presentation of that, the clearest way of expressing that. Hugging everyone, giving a beautiful shower of love to people. And I felt it from the first time I saw her, that there was this download of energy that came from this. And it doesn't always happen in present time. Like, I don't always feel the download in present time. The other day when I was participating in the arti and she was showering flowers on me as we were offering the oil lamp to her, I felt it in real time, this powerful download of energy. And things have been very much lighter since that. But also in this present, things come up. That might also be my own journey of a little bit of frustration with the times here, that like you really have to be in the flow of how things go at the ashram and be there for lunch and dinner and breakfast all at the same time. And it's a little awkward, I think, that like if breakfast is at 9 and 10, then lunch is at 12 and dinner is until 8. Like, whoa, breakfast and lunch, they're like right smack dab next to each other, and dinner isn't for so long later. Like, what's going on? And I mean, there's ways of working around that too, but things like that threw me off a little bit when I really wanted to just be totally in my own rhythm, because for so long traveling I've been in other people's rhythm that I'm staying with or traveling with people, and adjusting when my nature is far more independent. There's a balance of independence and interdependence, and our world conditions us to be too independent. There's a lot of toxic independence, though I think all of us have a proclivity to be a little bit more interdependent or a little bit more independent, and in a healthy way we acknowledge both of those energies. But I'm getting that reflection that, oh yeah, I really do my own thing. I don't really flow that good in group dynamics, and I got that reflection a lot recently, and just owning it this time. But nonetheless, like, the presence of this beautiful hugging saint has really brought me into a place of a lot more softness, and I find just so much has changed in my own inner process since I've been here. There's a lot more gratitude and openness and enthusiasm on a daily basis, just like, wow, life is good. And I was already feeling that before. Like, I've already been in a great place. Like, today I really acknowledged, like, oh, I've had everything I wanted in life now, and I'm so grateful for that. And I've worked, I've aligned, it's a bit of both, and it's come into my experience, and now things are even going to get better. But it's absolutely deeply a healing time. I'm disappearing into Vipasana 10-day meditation retreat, and that is going to be something, a very different kind of challenge. On one hand, the challenge of interacting with the outer world is gone, and that's something that I feel a little bit tired of. Like, I really want that inner space of just connection with myself. But then, of course, the inner processes are really, really apparent. Like, any negative beliefs or any resistant attitudes that one has in a meditation retreat really come up. And I've only done meditation retreat that's in a way a little bit less intense, because the less hours of meditation and yoga is involved to kind of move out some of that tension that comes up. And in Vipasana, you're not supposed to do yoga, you're not supposed to stretch, you're supposed to be totally and completely still. There's a big emphasis on that. It's a little bit more strict, but there's also less lectures and less fluffy stuff that's kind of distracting and kind of also engaging the mind. Like I felt in the first meditation retreat I did at Hridaya, like there was way too much stuff that was re-engaging the mind, and some of it was great that it was teachings about meditation, but then while they're talking about all of this philosophical stuff about life and their ideas about this and that, while we are kind of intending to be away from all of that and focus just inside, I think that stuff was really detracting from my meditation retreat with Hridaya, and something I didn't like. And there isn't that much of that. There's like 1 hour lecture every night in the Vipasana that is a recorded video. And I think that's maybe easier to deal with. And yeah, there's been other changes of going from really pushing myself with a more yang active yoga practice to being very yin, after recognizing that taking the best care of my body that I can for a long time, these stretches and ways of kind of approaching the tension that I was doing are not really working. And I had a deep Thai massage here where the practitioner said that when he worked with his Thai massage teacher, he told him to give up his yoga practice of 10 years because it was creating more tension. And I think he was doing a quite intense, like Ashtanga kind of practice, and maybe that makes sense. My practice wasn't that intense, but I mean, it's pretty intense. And I want to take it back up to some extent, but not in the same way I've been doing it before. So yin, very like gentle poses, letting the body weight do the work, letting it be effortless with no tension in the muscles. I'm finding, there's a lot of changes in my body just after these maybe less than 2 weeks of doing that. There's a lot more openness. I've also been doing a breathing practice to energize the body. It's a sort of esoteric practice. I'm not meant to share the specifics of it. But I can say that it triggers the nervous system to release traumas. And I think I've done this practice at times before when I wasn't really in an environment to go through it. And doing it in this environment was more helpful, and it brought up, certain levels of agitation. It felt like going to a much core, deeper level. Like the first times I've done it, I think it was really activating traumas and energies that came to me later in my life. And now it was going to like more core level stuff, but it wasn't as, it's like I've cleared a lot of this out already, and now it just feels like it's a agitation and kind of like a push for freedom, and it's good energy that it brings up in a way. But yeah, sometimes things are a little bit irritating, and just little things like walking around here, and like I found in my experience, like there's so many moments where somebody's trying to recruit you for a seva, and felt a little bit of like pressure into doing it when like maybe that isn't actually what I want to do, and like what my seva is a little bit bigger, involving like my work and teachings and my offering to people, and that is requiring me to go in to cleanse myself out right now. And I got to a point where I recognized, like, look, like the seva is great for everyone, but my seva right now is taking care of me, and like I don't have the space to be doing these things. Even though the time I spent in the garden was really lovely, I also was glad I listened to myself after some time. And there's even more detox and cleansing paradigm things that I'll be doing later on after the Vipasana, though the next month is not that. The next month will be, after this, will be a little bit more free for all. I have some special offerings that I really want to be working on soon. Like, there's these visions that have downloaded to me that I really need to get these things out there to people, and the balance of taking care of myself and putting time into these things is a little tricky, but I know that I'm going to get to it, and that the meditation retreat hopefully clears my brain out in a way that I'm like super dialed when I get to doing it. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't know, like, life's amazing, India's amazing. It's a place of this deep spirit of devotion, and yeah, I mean, it's good. It was good for me to kind of land into a place that's chilling me and connecting me to spiritual practices. And oh yeah, we were in Navaratri. We were doing pujas to the goddess Durga every night, and those were beautiful. Give me chills sometime. Give me this really sense of connection to something bigger and the Divine Mother, and just so beautiful to witness. So I'm glad that I landed to India with this, so that I feel more grounded, even more grounded after the Vipasana, to go out there and do some of the more wild parts of India, which I love and I miss as well, and call to me. So we're going out there soon. Just 10 more days, 11 more days, and a different journey begins. And I don't know what to say. Yeah, the channeling resumes later on once I'm back from this, and I think it'll be even again more dialed than before. And yeah, I mean, there's something of like the work like this that I'm doing and purifying myself, learning spiritual practices and the wisdom of these traditions, and all of the practices from around the world inform a lot of what allowed me to first enter these trance states. Like, in the terms of this part of the world, they'd call it a samadhi. Samadhi is that absorption into something. Like, channeling is essentially a form of samadhi, absorption into the connection with the guides. And I feel and experience, the more that I purify myself and clear myself out, the better that gets. And it's way easier to do that in these places like India than it is in Europe and the States, even in Mexico as well. Like, going on a trip to Asia a couple of years ago, including India, and then coming back to Mexico, like, I felt like it was my home there, and I longed to return in some way. What I really wanted was that feeling of stability, and Mexico was like that symbol. Like, that was where I felt stable last. But when I got there and like cultivated the stability, I noticed that environment really wasn't serving me. And I don't miss it at all. I'm fully in the present. A lot of clearing out. I noticed a lot of things that were filling my time were just a way of compensating for a lack of intimacy that is now fixed, is now better. And with that better, there's so many less energy drains, and I need to get even more dialed with no more energy drains. And that means a lot more discernment in what I'm choosing and who I'm connecting with. And I'm experiencing that, and I'm continuing to choose that. And life is really, really good. Life is amazing. If you have any doubt on your path, move through the doubt. Just get rid of it. Like, do it. It's okay. Do what you love to do and believe in your own higher power. Surrender to that higher power. When I first came to India 10 years ago with like so little money, so little stuff, half my stuff, my most valuable and cherished and emotionally attached. I was very emotionally attached. They had this deep sense of nostalgic connection and meaning and importance to it. It was taken first day, and I asked the Swami, first satsang I said, and he was like, I told him what was going on. I was like nearly having this breakdown in front of a stranger, and he's like, you believe in God? I'm like, yeah. What you need to do now is surrender completely to God. Okay, I'll do that. That trip was hard, and it's been hard. You know, I'm not saying it's easy to walk a spiritual path, but it gets way easier. And some astrology here was saying like, oh, the suffering is necessary. The suffering is good for you, and it opens you up to spirit. And like there's very true in that emptying yourself out happens when you go through the stuff, the hard stuff, and you're creating this clear vessel to be able to hold the light and the love. Because when you can find that compassion and that love and that connection within the kind of moments, that's when this heaviness in the heart and the body gets washed away, and the love that's already there emerges. We are unconditional love. This universe is unconditional love, and all we have to do is remove what's in the way of it. And if we don't consciously choose to do that work, the universe does it for us. It forces us to remove that stuff. But if we consciously choose to go in, I'm going to clear this stuff out, I'm going to sit with it, I'm going to remove it, life becomes really amazing. That's just it. So let life be amazing. Do the thing. Do your work. Do the stuff. Follow your heart. Do your practices and surrender to the divine. Surrender to your higher power. Trust that something bigger than you knows better than you, because it does. And it will bring you to the right place, right time if you listen to this. And my heart's telling me the video's over now. So I love you, bless you, hug you. See you on the other side, honeys.